Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second Link for Growth National News Show for 2016. My name's Chris Ogle, and I've got a packed show for you today. Lots of good news going on out there. The four main aspects of Link for Growth, and we'll be talking about those briefly. And then I'm going to be sharing with you some of the exciting local projects that are taking place as a result of the Link for Growth coffees and other activities that we've got going on locally, including the Community Kickstarter initiative, which I have mentioned on previous shows. So as we grow through 2016, it's really vital that we focus in on some of the key elements of Link for Growth. And there are four of those key elements. And some subdivisions within that, but the main ones are the community building element of what Link for Growth is about, the education and skills platform, which is Link for Skills, the nurturing and support of the 6.7 million small micro businesses of 5 and less employees. That is the largest growing sector of the UK economy. So Link for Business focuses in on that area. So we're talking very briefly about that. And also the last one, which is how we're sharing all the information that's happening within Link for Growth and beyond on the TV platform L4G.TV. So those are the four main ones. We have online mentoring groups which sit alongside the Link for Business element of Link for Growth, and we've also got the Community Kickstarter initiative, which sort of brings everything that we're doing together. So there's some subdivisions there which are vitally important as well. But I'm just going to talk very briefly about the focus points this year. So the community building, which is essentially the responsibility for growing the network and ensuring the new areas that we're moving into are building with the same consistency and the same ethos, the same message, and the essence of what Link for Growth is all about. And if you remember the 7 principles of Link for Growth, it's essential that when we grow in new areas, we don't dilute those messages. And the person that's responsible for that is Nikki Pepper. She brings people into the community who wish to participate in building Link for Growth in a new area, and she does the induction process, teaches the processes, and ensures that we have consistency, which is a vitally important role. So we have that area kind of covered, and we're kind of going back over old ground in some cases and helping people who joined us early on in the journey and making sure that those processes are equally employed in those areas, as well as obviously moving into new areas and establishing those from the off. The next area is education and skills delivery. So we've been building in the background a platform, linkforskills.com, which is essentially the People's University. This is an area which is vitally important because by 2018, half the networking that we do is going to be online. And the sad fact is that 90% of the effort that people put in online through those platforms is wasted because it's just noise, basically. And what we're interested in doing is, this is part of what Link for Skills is about ensuring that we do not fail people who are trying to use social media, and we assist them in being effective with all of the platforms. And we've got 2 new programs in Link for Skills that are coming up shortly. One is effectively a strategy for people who are thinking of using the social media platforms, or who are but not really getting the kind of results that they want, whatever they are. And that's probably because they don't really understand the difference between the platforms, and also how to apply each of those to whatever endeavor they're embarking on. So we've created a program to enable that to happen. 6 people only per session there, and they are the reason for that is because actually it requires quite a bit of personal attention to ensure that each of those people go away with kind of a plan of how to move forward. So that's something that we're putting in place. And the second one is a series that we have the basics training already for things like Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, and also LinkedIn, and they teach you how to get yourself set up, ready to roll, if you like. Make sure you've got all the boxes ticked. But the next thing is an intermediary stage, which is, okay, I've got all the basics in place. How do I now start to use these with intent? And that's really the key, is with intent, with purpose, where I know what I'm trying to achieve with it, and I know the steps that I can take to actually do that. And then the third level, which we've got a workshop that's just starting to launch, which is a 6-week program, 0 to Hero, where each of those particular platforms, you start off and you can even if you've got very limited knowledge, we will take you through each of the steps to ensure that at the end of it, you're really starting to rock and roll with each of those platforms. So that's part of what Link for Skills is all about. The second half of Link for Skills is providing a platform so that the people out there, collectively as a nation, we've all got the knowledge we need, but it's all locked up in our heads and we can't get it out to the people who need it. And whenever you talk to someone who builds a workshop, the workshop part of it is relatively simple. The problem is finding the people that need the knowledge. So as Link for Growth grows and as Link for Skills becomes, if you like, more diverse in the education programs that we're delivering, that will become more and more useful as people can easily find the skills that they're looking for on the Link for Skills platform. So we've got one side of it which is about bringing people to the point where they're using social media effectively, and on the second side, it's ensuring that people can deliver workshops if they really want to do that, but also on the flip side of that, where they can pick up the skills that they need, because it's quite complicated running a business today. So that's the second point. The third area is Link for Business. Now, I said earlier, Link for Business has been designed to provide support and nurturance for the 6.7 million people who are running micro businesses and have decided that they want to basically run their own endeavor, really run their own business. And that's a real step, a brave step, but unfortunately there's nothing much out there to enable people to actually get support and help to actually achieve that. So Link for Business is about doing that, providing that platform, providing that whole kind of belonging to a community of people that are working together and who are suffering the same, if you like, in trying to run their businesses. So Simon Cox has been appointed as the UK person to run that project across the UK. I did forget to mention, actually, on the Link for Skills, we don't have a permanent person for that right now. However, I have picked up the cudgels to basically for 3 months to basically get Link for Skills moving fast and to ensure that everyone knows exactly what it is and that we start to provide that support for skills in education right across the UK. So Simon has been appointed to do exactly the same thing, but for Link for Business. So congratulations to Simon, and looking forward to working with you. And the last of the 4 is the TV platform. Now, this platform is where we share the massive project of Link for Growth right across the whole of the community of Link for Growth, so that people can pick up exactly what's happening, easily find out. They can also participate. And what we're really doing is creating a community TV channel which every single person in the country can participate in. And there are loads of videos that are out there already by people who have produced them, all sitting there on their YouTube account, and no one's really watching them because it's quite difficult and quite challenging for many people to get the keywords into the notes and description about their videos. So sadly, they're sitting there doing nothing. But what Link for Skills, what L4G TV does is bring those into a relevant, localized channel where people who live in the area where those videos have been produced can find them easily and watch them. We don't have anybody at the moment who is essentially responsible for that from a UK perspective, and we are looking for someone. So if that's something that interests you, then please do get in touch. Now, I want to share with you now some examples, and I've written these down, of how community building is working on the ground. And I'm conscious that I'm consuming a bit of time here, so I'm 10 minutes in or so, and I want to just rattle through these, really, not rush through them, rattle through them, and just explain a little bit about how Link for Growth is working on the ground. And this, I hope, will promote some ideas in your areas about how actually you can deploy maybe some of these concepts and apply them in your area. So I've been working, last month we started the Community Kickstarter Initiative project in Harlow. Now, I picked Harlow. We've got some others running as well, but I've picked Harlow because it's a good example of what has happened. So one of the chaps there, a guy called Ian Hudson, he's well connected in Harlow, and he came along to the conference and quite liked the idea of what the Community Kickstarter Initiative is about, which is involving the whole of the community in a project to essentially work together to promoting community in all its elements in a town. So last month, we had the first meeting, and there were 14 people from all walks of life there, all fairly senior people in the community who are running projects which are community related. And one of the key missions, if you like, of that first meeting is to explain to everybody that Link for Growth and the CKI is not about taking over or controlling what people are already doing. There's plenty of people doing good work out in the community. The job of the CKI is essentially to find out all the good things that are going on, who's doing it, and then basically provide the platform to expose all that good stuff so that more people get involved in those things and they become even more successful than they already are. And that's quite a challenge to get that message over. But once it's got over, and in fact we've got a meeting next week, the second one in the run up to the launch, where we've got close to 20 people attending, all now saying actually the 97% of good things that are going on in the community, where can we report those? Where can we share those? Because we've got a whole mechanism for reporting the bad news that's going on, but we've got very little to report the good news. So the CKI program is about getting all the people together, finding out what's going on, and then giving the town a platform to share that 97% of good news that's going on. And the brilliant thing is it's all free too. So that's fantastic. And we've got the next one next week. Really looking forward to that on Tuesday. And that I can see this being fabulously successful in Harlow. So well done to everybody up there for joining in with that program. And I want to just talk to you very, very briefly about Transitioning Kings. Now, this is a project that's been running in Kings Langley, which is quite close to me, for a number of years. And if you're not sure what transition towns actually are, it's the encouragement of it's basically town-based, but it's encouraging the people in the town to join in with the project to move away from fossil fuels to a more sustainable way of living. So they've got a number of petals, as they call them, things like food, transport, energy, stuff like that, where people can engage in something that's really interesting for them, that they really are passionate about, and they can start to help initiatives in the town to move away from fossil fuels to more sustainable thing. And transition in Kings has been, I went along to one of their meetings, and one of the big problems they have is communicating their message out there so that the community in a wider context understands what they're doing and can see the success that they've had. So this is a perfect example of how the CKI project can embrace with a community project that's already in existence and successful, but make it happen far quicker. And with doing being able to report this into a community platform, we are enabling those people to get their message out to that wider audience. Not only that, there's an Abbots Langley Transition Town movement, which would love to be able to find out easily what is going on in Kings Langley, which has been going for longer, so they can replicate and duplicate those ideas. And Watford, which is where I am, we've got a very our transition town is in its infancy, and we could benefit from all the things that are going on in the other two transition areas, but it's very difficult to get people together and communicate that. But now we've got this platform, we can share ideas, best practice, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and all three can move forward in a very positive way, collaborating together to make sure that we can create a real buzz around transition in an area, not just in one town. So that's fantastic news. Getting that message out there. We were talking at the last meeting we had about how can we engage the kids and the young people in this, because sadly it's people who are of the older generation that are participating in these things, and of course their capabilities with modern technology are not as advanced as the younger people. So an idea that popped up: why don't we get some of the young people in the schools to talk on the Sustainability TV channel, which Debbie King is going to be launching very soon. If we get the kids from the school to be talking about why they think sustainability is important, why they think being eco-friendly is the way forward, and of course the other students are going to watch their friend who's on the TV, and then their parents are going to watch it, then the other schools are going to say, why aren't we doing this? And you can see how that can translate into a massive boost for the whole thing. All this stuff's linked, you can't separate any of it, so that's brilliant. And we've got a wormery project going on in Croxley, and this is again another initiative that's come about by conversations that took place at a coffee. Somebody knew the headmaster of a school. They've already got a farm, like a garden where they're growing vegetables and stuff. It goes into the kitchen, the waste gets produced, could go back in the wormery to produce compost back into the garden again. Great project. Again, blogging on this, doing a bit of TV on it, parents talk, other schools start to wonder why they haven't got it, and you can see where it can head. So these are all great projects and initiatives that are going on. I was talking over in Chesham, and there's something for everyone in Link for Growth, I have to tell you that. But I was over in Chesham yesterday, and no, it wasn't Chesham, it was Great Missenden, but there was people there from Chesham. We were talking about, one of the chaps there was working in the museum, people they're passionate about the history. There was a guy there who's written a book about the history of Chesham from like the 30s to the 80s and 90s, and there's a passion about the history of that town. So again, in the Link for Growth, we've got L4G TV, we've got the community TV, so we're doing one in Watford, which is a Friday afternoon. We're going to do one on sport. I said to them, why don't they do a local TV show on the history of Chesham? And it was like, wow, what an amazing idea. Yeah, we could do that. I've got people who'd like to be involved in that. And suddenly we've got a whole new diverse group of people coming into Link for Growth because they can see the benefit of using the channels and using the platform to accelerate the growth of building community in their town. So really looking forward to seeing that develop. I was talking to a young girl in Watford this week on Wednesday. Decided not to go to university, 19 years of age. We asked her, what do they like? What do kids do? What do these young people do? She said, well, it's a real problem because actually we're really interested in politics, but where can we go to talk about it? Where can we go to have conversations about these things? So now within Link for Growth, we have lots of conversations about these things, and they're more than welcome to come along. But I just bounced the idea off with, what about a youth TV channel? And how about you starting that youth TV channel? And how about some of your mates getting on it? And what about that? And why don't you talk about what you're doing in Watford and what you'd like to see? How powerful would that be? And why wouldn't that be replicated across the country? Amazing. Very excited. Looking forward to seeing that emerge as well. Something that cropped up in the last couple of months. How many gardens are out there with people who are not gardening them but could produce food? And how many people like gardening and don't have a garden? Actually, if we could bring these people together, we could start gardening other people's gardens, producing food that would benefit the person whose garden it is, but also would create food that could be resold through the network or through a food hub or whatever. How many gardens are out there like that? What a wasted opportunity. And we can do it. Absolutely, we can do it. And in fact, Debbie King, who I mentioned earlier, she spotted that my mum had a massive greenhouse in her garden, not being used. Killed two birds with one stone. My mum's quite often alone. I'm not far, and I do go around as often as I can. Don't worry about that. But actually, this kills two birds with one stone. Somebody around there utilising a resource which is being wasted, and actually my mum having some extra company and actually seeing that greenhouse being used to produce food, small plants that can be planted out in the summer. How amazingly fantastic is that? Why can't we do more of that as well? So these are all just ideas. I'm just throwing them out there. And the last one I want to talk about actually is the coffee shop union that we've started in the Watford Southwest Herts area. This is about bringing the independent coffee shops together so that they can work together. And what we're trying to do here, we've recognized that these coffee shops, these localized independent coffee shops, normally run by a local person who's connected in the community. These people often run Link for Growth events. We certainly do around here. So they're getting people in, and they can talk about Link for Growth to these people, so we can introduce Link for Growth to a much wider audience. But not only that, these coffee shops have replaced what the pubs of old did. The pubs of old, you could walk in there and you'd know people in there, and you could end up in a conversation. You could go in on your own and do that. Nowadays, if you go into a pub on your own, you're going to stay on your own, pretty much. There still exists in small villages and stuff like that, granted, but in the bigger communities, it doesn't exist. So these coffee shops can replace that functionality, because you walk in there, the person in there knows about the community. They'll probably recognize you if you're local, and they'll start talking to you, and they'll no doubt introduce you to other people that are in those shops. This is a massively good way of bringing back what we had, but in a different guise. This is the independent coffee shops. These coffee shops are often not well frequented because people know Costa, they know Cafe Nero, they know Starbucks, they know what they're going to get. But actually, if we can introduce the coffee shop union, which has got certain guarantees of what those people have signed up for, you're going to know what you get. The benefit is that they're all so diverse. It's amazing. And they're all going to be buying their produce locally. They're all going to, it's going to be filled with local people. What a fantastic way and a hub for really accelerating the growth of local community, and also Link for Growth through our association and our embellishing that concept. And this can be rolled out right across the country. There is no reason why it can't. I want to thank Catherine Baldwin for creating the little half A5, I don't know what you call that, is it A6 vinyl sticker that the people who sign up to this can put in their window on their shop to say, I'm part of the coffee union. And also for the leaflet that we can hand out to these coffee shops, which will enable them to read up a bit more about it, what's involved, and how they can join in, etc., etc. So lots of ideas there, really, and the ideas are coming out thick and fast, and it's all brought together, really. We're bringing together all aspects of the four components of Link for Growth here. We're bringing together local business. We're bringing together the TV platform to report on what we're doing. We're bringing together the skills development so that these coffee shops and these other local businesses can start to really understand how that they can use technology to improve their business, how they can even share their ideas with other people who might be interested. And of course, we've got all the events. So when someone says, I'm really interested in that, oh, we've got an event over there tomorrow, we've got an event over there next week, or in the evening, or in the morning. There's something for absolutely everybody in Link for Growth, which is why it's so exciting. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, really, I'm going to be there is a Link for Growth community on Google, which we're going to be posting this good news stuff and these projects and things that are going on out there in there, so that people can actually access them. They know who's involved. They can go and talk to those people, and we can really start to take some of this good stuff out there into other districts fast. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say this week. I want to thank you for watching. Hope there's some ideas in there that can be adopted or utilized or mutated to work in other areas of Link for Growth. And if you're watching for the first time or you've not seen this, then please do watch again. I hope that's inspired you, and I will see you again same time, which is the first 3 o'clock on the first Saturday of the month, and that will be in April. So thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.